Hello, spiritual seeker. This is Deepa Lu, and I'm the creative mystic. And I ring this bell to awaken you to your divine presence. So today I woke up and I really felt this need and desire to light a candle for Divine Mother. And as I was doing it, I was guided by her that she really wanted me to talk about this today and share this with you about the power of ritual. And so she wanted me to start with talking about what is, rituals. What are they? What's the significance? And so out of curiosity, I went to check it up online, the dictionary online to find out what's the actual definition of the word ritual. And it's a religious or solemn ceremony consisting of a series of actions performed according to a prescribed order or relating to or done as a religious or solemn rite. But for me, rituals have nothing to do with religion or a solemn rite, but everything to do with empowering yourself. So Divine Mother gave me this aha where she really wanted me to share with you my ritual of doing something that seems really mundane and maybe even meaningless to some, but the ritual of lighting a candle. And so today I'm going to talk about some of the things I use on a daily basis in my spiritual practice in the rituals that I do daily, because I think the products that you utilize in your practices are really important. They have to have significance and meaning and be something that really evokes a positive feeling in you when you do these rituals. And then I'm going to talk to you about the power of ritual. And then next week, I'm going to actually do the candle ritual for you. But today, we're going to talk about the power of ritual and some of the things I use in it. So obviously, if it's lighting a candle, what's the first thing we're going to use is a candle. So the candles I use are different on different days. Do you wake up feeling exactly the same way every single day? Probably not, right? And so each day I do a spiritual practice every morning, every evening, what I call sadhana, which is a Sanskrit word basically meaning spiritual practices. And I use different candles depending on where I am and how long I have, if I've gotten up early enough to do a long spiritual practice or a short spiritual practice. And so if I'm doing a shorter spiritual practice, I use these candles. I love the way these candles smell. I wish I could let you have the scent through, the video or through the audio if you listen to just the audio. But these are really thin candles that the box calls them talisman for you pure beeswax candles. I'm going to have a link down there, so if you want to order your own you can. But I love the smell of these candles. They're like heavenly, which is just right there. Me saying that they're heavenly is already something that's putting you in the right frame of consciousness and mind, right? So when you do a ritual, what is it? It's an action. It's the first thing that you're doing. Now, for a lot of people, when they do ritual, they take the action. They think that's all it is I just do this little rote behavior, just like they said on this definition that a series of actions performed according to a prescribed order. You'll see people do this in some religious orders where they just do it and they have, you can see they're just doing it out of habit and they have no real attention or intention in it. They're just doing it because this is what they're supposed to do. So Mother Mary really wanted me to help you to realize how important not just the action is, which is the first step of ritual, but the attention of your conscious mind and the intention that you have when you're doing the ritual. But back to the candle. Now, you might be looking at this candle going, now, what candle holder can hold this? Okay. Now, you'll notice I use beeswax, and that's all I'm going to talk about today are beeswax candles because I think they are the best candles for any kind of meditation or for relaxation, for any kind of spiritual practices. I truly believe beeswax is the best. And the reason being is because beeswax, I've done some searches on the internet, but they talk about how they put out negative ions, but that help with EMFs. That may be true or not, but the true part that is for sure that they know is that beeswax doesn't put off soot when it burns. So if you have any kind of spiritual pictures that you don't want damaged. You don't want soot. Okay. It's not toxic. So if you use paraffin candles, that's toxic. So if you're breathing in toxicity, can't be the best thing for your spiritual growth, right? If you're breathing in toxicity, no toxicity with beeswax candles. Okay. And the scent can affect you. Our, five senses of sight, smell, taste, hearing, touching, all of it makes a difference in ritual. So when you do ritual, you want to have something that actually evokes a positive feeling, evokes a good sense of, with your sense of smell. These candles, like I said, heavenly. Now, what you do if you want to use these thin candles, which are used in a lot of churches, I know they're used a lot in Orthodox churches, is you get a container. So I have this little brass container. You can use almost any kind of container, and you put some sand on the inside, and then you just put the candle right in there, and it stands up. Okay, now, and there you've got your candle in there. Now, if you're going to do a longer sadhana, one that is more than just, 10, 15 minutes or half an hour, then you can use a bigger candle. Now, the bigger, thicker candles I love, beeswax again, but by the brand Big Dipper. I have several Big Dipper candles. This particular one, for some reason, they're not carrying the large ones in glass, but they had smaller ones. And they also have pillars uh, that are not in glass. So you can just get them and put them on some kind of container that you can place it on that's not going to burn or anything. But one of the rules of thumb I use when I'm using these candles is, depending on how long my spiritual practice is going to be or how long I'm going to burn the candle, is about the width of the candle, is about the number of hours that it's going to burn and take to come down where you can burn it so it burns the width of it and comes down neatly. So this one's almost 2 inches, so it's going to take almost 2 hours for it to burn so that it comes down in a nice uniformed way. And so and that's just so you can get the full use of the candle. Now you're going to maybe look at the beeswax candles and go, wow, these are expensive. But I tell people that they're worth every penny because they put you in the right frame of just consciousness when you have a scent that actually feeds your sense of smell, and the fact that there's no toxicity put out or anything that's going to make you cough, because paraffin candles can make you cough because of the soot and the toxic chemicals that come into the air if you're sensitive at all. I'm an empath. I'm sensitive to things. So if you're highly sensitive, really recommend beeswax candles. Feel free to check out the links. Um, if you want to take a look at what I use. So in the ritual, what Divine Mother wanted me to really get across to you is that in something that seems maybe so mundane and meaningless, it is really a powerful thing to bring forth your spiritual power, because that spiritual power already exists within you. It's about helping you to actually awaken to it, to be able to, connect with it rather than the busyness of the day. And so it starts with, yes, an action. But if the action is just rote without any conscious thought, without any conscious feeling, because the feeling is really important, without any conscious intention. Now, you might be thinking, what's the difference between attention and intention? Attention is where you put your conscious mind on the act that you're doing. And so you focus all of your attention onto the lighting of the candle rather than thinking about just getting it done and I've got to get into my day. You think, okay, I'm lighting this candle. And then you focus your attention onto that lighting of the candle with the intention that you have. So the important part about attention is, you know, energy flows where attention goes. Okay, so whatever your attention is on, so of lighting the candle, and then you have the intention. So like when I light my candles, I have my attention in lighting the candle, and then I have my intention of I am awaking, I'm lighting this candle to affirm the fact that I am a powerful being and that this divine light that's within the flame of the candle is also within me. and I light that candle with the intention of lighting that divine light within myself. Okay. And so I light the candle and then I sit down, I stare at the flame, affirming with the intention that, yes, I'm a powerful being and I am lighting my own light. And so, what Mother Mary wanted me to really get across to you is that this ritual represents you affirming the powerful being that you are and that you have this divine seed within you, this divine light within you. And all it takes is putting your attention, intention on it with the ritual of lighting the candle. So it's the action, the attention, and the intention. And you bring those together and it starts to shift the energy. So that the key here is that you light the candle each day with that action, attention, and intention, not out of mundane rote, just light the candle, hurry up, got to sit down, got to get my meditation done, or got to get to the next thing. It's about taking that moment of pause in the ritual, of really connecting that we're all one, that this act of me lighting this candle is feeding my own divine light, that divine light that I'm going to bring forth into my day to be the blessing that you desire to be, to let your greatness out, to create the life that you love, whatever the true heart's desire is that you have, that divine light is there to aid you and support you in that. Okay. So I would love to hear any feedback from you, comments. If this resonates with you, please subscribe. Please give me, thumbs up or rating. It all helps me. And like I said, next week I'm actually going to do the ritual on the podcast. All right. Have an amazing day. Remember, greatness is within you. It's time to let it out. Blessings.